surprisingly.
Wow.
And now he's going to start regenerating
This
shields.
probe, man.
Super probe. Finally, the drone takes a shot out of the probe's actual life pool.
Oh.
Hatchery does end up going down. But nice little delay tactic there by Panda Tank. Delays for 3 minutes and 30 seconds without ever having to drop a pylon.
Yeah. And that's really nice that you're able to delay that much without having to commit any resources. It is Ohana, a map that 2 base pressure is very strong against Zerg. I think Protoss players really like that short distance, especially they can do kind of immortal all-ins if they want to. But I don't know if that's what Panda Tank wants to do necessarily.
Yeah, I'm not sure what we're going to see out of Panda Tank here on Ohana. He's a guy with a pretty wide range of play styles. One thing I do really admire about Panda Tank is that this is a time in the metagame where PvZ is really, really hard. Most, maybe even all pros will weigh in some way on that sort of on the situation. Infested Broodlord's too strong. Late game is too difficult against Zerg. Panda Tank's not a guy that I've ever heard actually make a real balance wine. He's kind of a guy that always says,
don't know why.
yeah, you know, this situation is hard, but that's just kind of how the game is, and you got to learn to play around it. And it's refreshing to see somebody with that kind of a mindset. I think that's something that, to play at the highest level, you need to think that way. And if we think back to the days of NEST dominance, that's kind of mindset that he often had.
Yeah, when Zerg was often recognized as the weakest race. And NEST just pretty much has to recognize builds and just prepare accordingly.
Drops the audio video for a split second.
I agree with Ben. I think it's very similar to Mana, actually. Mana does that same exact thing as well. But we do see a very early aggression out of Golden.
Hatch Chancel at the third base. It's going to be Roach Ling. And Panda Tank this time does not have a second cannon. Panda Tank is not doing much scouting. There's a Stalker, but he's only going to clear this Zelnaga tower. Oh, no. This is terrible. Terrible for Panda Tank.
Yeah, he's gassing too. If he knew, he'd be getting up 3 more cannons, or at least 2 cannons. And as a result, he's going to be caught way off guard. He even left his own watchtower, like you said, Ben.
This is basically an impossible defense, Dan. I don't know how in the world he'll be able to hold this. He has only 1 gate. He has only 1 incomplete robo. He has no idea what's coming. Here come the Lings, and we might be seeing a very, very quick GG out of Panda Tank.
Panda Tank, he doesn't know, and it's so funny because these are slow Zerglings. It's not like that's a huge surprise build. The Zerglings immediately get in. Panda Tank forced to pull his probes. He has to drop some pylons and wall and just buy some time. Needs to also squeeze out an Immortal, but he doesn't even have enough resources to do so.
Yeah, he's broke right now. No money. He's having to throw down frantic cannons, but this is just a build order win if ever there has been one. Roaches and Lings in his natural. We're going to have to see a very, very fast GG out of Panda Tank. Oh, man, it's heartbreaking. He had the Stalker out. He could have crossed the map, but he chose not to. And Golden capitalizing on Protoss greed with the Roach Ling all in.
Man, that's it was a slow Roach, slow Ling all in. It's just like something you don't normally see, and it came at such an awkward time because his Robo wasn't done. His Warp Gate wasn't done. His first Sentry wasn't done. He only had 1 unit out into the field. Very early attack, and that's actually the first time I've seen that third hatch cancel into that kind of attack, Ben.
Yeah, cool build out of Golden. He goes up 2-0. That game brought to you guys by Squarespace. All the tools you need to build an exciting webpage. NASL.tv/p/Squarespace to download that software. We're going to take a short break, guys. We'll be back with more StarCraft 2 after this.
Other ones, just fine.
One, he doesn't bring any spare actually, which means if he really wanted to commit to this, he'd bring a spare SCV. And it looks like Bomber's just going to turn around and go home at this point in time. So that's fine, that's okay. Didn't really do much. He forced a few SCVs off the line. He doesn't really sacrifice anything. That's an easy cancel right there. So 25 minerals for a little bit of weight. It's kind of an even trade between these two, I feel.
It really is, and there's always a chance, you know, that SCV might somehow get that bunker up, and then if your two Marines can sneak in it, that can just be a real pain in Ganji's side. Because, you know, the things deal with bunkers, we're talking about siege tanks, talking about marauders. Ganji's nowhere close to anything like that.
Welcome back, everyone, to the North American Star League. We just got our coffee orders, but They were actually it's not supposed to be coffee. It's supposed to be frappuccinos.
It's okay.
It's all good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's still going to be delicious.
I'm starting to sweat a little bit now after. Thank you, Lauren. I wish the mic caught all of that, but guys, we're in the middle of the series between Golden and Panda Tank. Guys, it's game number 3. 2-0 is a score for Golden.
Very difficult spot to be in if you are in Panda
tough.
Tank's shoes. He has to win 3 in a row if he wants to get through, if he wants to qualify for the wild cards, if he wants to qualify for the next season of the North American Star League. Golden is 1 map away, and he is looking so strong. Daybreak will be our 3rd map. It's going to be a place where Golden is going to be very confident.
Yes, Daybreak, a map that every Zerg is very comfortable on. When the game, or when the season first started, Rhett messaged me and asked me if he can play more games on Daybreak. I said sure, and I made it happen.
So you're the one to blame.
No, the reason why was because there was a little map error. Like, for example, he played Daybreak once, but he was playing Entombed Valley 3 times, and like it didn't really make sense because one of the days got skipped in our schedule, so everything shifted, and he only played on Daybreak once, and he didn't even play on Metropolis any times. So I eventually found the error, fixed it, and then Rhett played on Daybreak twice, Entombed Valley twice.
Those pick up really quick.
Daybreak will be this next map, guys. Let's go ahead and jump into our game.
Theme of that story, Ben, is ask and you shall receive. In the top right corner, we have from South Africa.
Like $1 million.
All right, I'll buy you a $5 scratch off right now. In the top right, we have from South Africa, also training in the Razor House under the tutelage of Mr. Bitter. It is the Green Protoss player, Panda Tank. And his opponent, who is up 2-0 over him from Team Quantic, currently training in Oceanside, California, one of the fastest Zerg players out there. It is Golden.
Golden with a vicious all-in on Ohana after the very nice defense and macro game on Entombed Valley, showing a wide range of playstyles in this best of 5. And on Daybreak, I think we're going to see him return to the same kind of playstyle we saw in Entombed Valley. He's going to want to sit back. He's going to want to take bases. And he's going to want to macro out of his mind, Dan, because that's just what you do on Daybreak.
You're absolutely correct. Daybreak is a map where passive play is way preferred over aggressive play just because of the long distances, the easy ability for Zerg to scout. You can pretty much see when they move out with Overlord spots in really nice positions. You can also see their tech very easily. Of course, I'm on the opposite side.
Be like 9 Marines right next to the command center, and all of them just instantly yelling.
Yeah, absolutely, because they lined up essentially to donate themselves to the Hellion, which is not what you want at all. Great angle there. Absolutely wonderful angle from StarTale's Bomber, and a strong start in this series.
A very strong start. I mean, Ganchi was trying one of Bomber's builds, and you know what Bomber says, you can't use my builds against me.
No.
And it just caught him off guard. So now I feel like if I'm in Panda Tank's shoes, I don't necessarily know how to approach Golden. Just have to scout a lot aggressively.
Yeah, a really awkward position to be in for Panda Tank, certainly. Guys, we are showing some open games right now if you're just joining us. We've got a couple more open games still to come, including Symbol versus Sword Up.
There, and he felt confident with his quantity Marines, whereas really the positioning is so much more important. If you stayed behind a command center, kept him in the arc, of course you would have had to stop mining, but he would have been able to stay in the game, which of course is preferable.
Yeah, donating your entire natural to the Hellions was probably not the best course of action, but as you said, he did panic. Bomber is ready, and we're just, there we go. I have the con, so we will...
Especially for Sheth versus Thorazane, Ben, because we were doing some calculations. If Sheth loses by any chance, then we have a 3-way tie where him, Huangsun, and DRG might have to play a 3-way tiebreaker.
That's right.
And if Sheth loses 0-2, then all of a sudden he's not even in the wild cards, and it's kind of a shuffle. So, very important match, wrapping things up. Of course, followed that is the open bracket finals. Long night of broadcasting, Ben, but I'm very happy because we get to see the big conclusion for our regular season.
Yep. MMA versus Stefano is another game from the division that is going to need to happen at some point. It's Roddy's match to look forward to. But of course, Stefano is at Lone Star Clash right now, and we're trying very hard to accommodate him in the scheduling there. We see a single Zergling crossing the map right now for Golden, just trying to get that good scout.
That's right. Controlling the watchtowers is
So
pretty
like it
key.
freezes independently.
What do you think?
Of
Do you think StarCraft 2 would?
GPU clock changing? So I
Well,
don't
how do you think StarCraft 2 would function on the maps we have now if we didn't have watchtowers?
It does same skipping.
I think it'd be a better
on
game, Dan.
Every
Yeah.
I think watchtowers are
i7,
kind of a silly
i5,
mechanic that.
Too strong.
AMD, I've got
Well, I just feel like it
laptop
rewards
and a Core 2 Duo
laziness.
laptop, and they all do. So I have no idea. What
Technically, I
happens.
guess that's true
The
because you
light
get to
drops.
see a lot more for than what you're resting in. Although I'm starting to believe that if you just drop